All of the work is driven by the process. And the work in this show, all the works in this show share some similarities in process. So I'm only using I'm primarily using two different types of marks. I'm using line and dots, but there are also gestural elements here. So there are some works that have some droplets and other ways of approaching image making that I have less control over. So all three of the large works that are in the show began with preparatory drawings, which isn't necessarily typical for me. I don't always begin with a very specific idea in mind. But what I can say about all three of the large works in this show is that they began with preparatory drawings and then they veered off and became something that I hadn't anticipated. Yellow is a complicated color because it represents like liquid and also light, and it can also be very solid. And I was able to use it in all of those different ways through the different imagery in this body of work. And the combination of the yellow on a dark ground, I've been working with that for about 3 or 4 years now, and I find it very appealing, and it seems to work for me. So the dark areas in most of the paintings are actually a very, very deep blue, but in some cases they look black. The deep blue is another palette that has a variety of implications. So I like that looseness of interpretation and the fact that those two colors can be understood in so many different ways. I intentionally create situations that are disorganized in the work, and then I spend the rest of the time trying to rein it in and create order. So, for instance, with the works that have more painterly elements, those usually appear first, and then I try and bring it back and create order out of those sections that I had lost control over. There's not one way that I'm able to do that. So each time I begin a painting, I have to struggle to find a way to address the edges in that particular place for that particular image. And within the show, the edges of the paintings are resolved in different ways in each painting. So the work exists in a place where it doesn't have to be about disorder and it doesn't have to be about the grid or order. It can be both of those places at the same time. It doesn't have to be an object, it doesn't have to be a place, it doesn't have to be a landscape. It can straddle all of those different areas.